status quo. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. No ranks.
Check, check, check. Microphone check. We are back in the new year, 2026. How you
Happy
guys
New Year.
feeling?
Yeah. Another year older.
Wonderful.
I feel evolved. I got to see the last of the Stranger Things on New Year's. So we're wrapped up with that. Big fan.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Roy is actually a year older because his birthday was on Christmas.
Yeah, that's got to suck, man. Like
You have it's better now. When I was like in my early 20s going to the bars a lot, yeah, it was pretty miserable then because nobody wants to go out on your birthday.
Well, who cares about that? What about when you're like 7 and you're wanting the new G.I. Joe toy or whatever, and it's like Christmas and your birthday all at the same time? Did your
Yeah,
mom like
true.
give you like a birthday in June or anything?
So my mom knew that that was going to be a problem. So when I was a kid, she'd celebrate my birthday in November on her
There you go.
birthday,
Good.
so that I could have friends over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still had a mountain of family members who'd come in and be like, "Here's your birthday and Christmas gift." And it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's about the same quality as you got Joe over here for just Christmas.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on.
Hey, that's poor decisions on your part. You decided to incarnate into this reality in a really bad date, man.
Oh, trust me, my mom was not happy about when I chose to be born either, in the middle of an ice storm.
Well, wait. You should flip that back on her and talk about her role in the whole process and what decisions was she making?
Yeah, I'm not brave enough to go down that road.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's so bad about sharing a birthday with like one of the most loving humans that ever existed, right? So, I mean, you have that going for you.
Oh, you're talking? I thought you were talking about some other people.
No, I'm talking about the big Christmas.
The guy they named the holiday after.
The guy they named the holiday after. Well, how was everybody's Christmas? How was your birthday? How was Christmas? What'd you guys do? Who'd you see? What was going on? Did you eat turkey? What was going on?
What was yours, man?
Ham.
Ham?
Yeah, we did ham. We did ham as well. We did a spicy mustard ham and a honey baked ham.
So we celebrate Yule for Rachel, and then we celebrate Christmas for my family.
Nice.
So we do back to back
Both.
to back. We do 3 holidays in that little run there.
Yeah, I've got a lot of divorce going on in my family, so we do a lot of holidays too. But it's always, you got to go to stepkids. Got to go to dad's holiday. Then we do the home holiday. Then we do the mother-in-law's holiday, and then the father-in-law's holiday with their side of the family. That's just my wife's side of the family, and then we have to come through and do mine. And so yeah, it didn't line up this year, so ended up spending Christmas apart from the family. Went down to my parents down in Southwest Missouri,
The Ozarks.
down the Ozarks, and hung out with my family side down there. And Jessica was up at in St. Louis at her mom's side of the family. So that's just how it is, man. I think that's pretty commonplace anymore for most Americans now, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. There's a lot of jumping around, like on the day of or the day prior. Going to different events and stuff.
I felt like I didn't even really have holidays. I felt like I just kind of ran from one to the other, and it
Little
was like
mini
a weird
reunions?
Yeah, kind of
Little reunions.
Yeah. And what do I got to get for this one? I got to get on the road. When do I get back? Yeah,
Yep.
it's
And then
like
about the time you get comfortable hanging out with that group of family again, it's like, oh, I got to go to my next thing, and then rinse and repeat all over again.
It's kind of that way.
In our house, we're still doing Elf on the Shelf and Santa, full on Santa and all that.
fun.
And yeah,
It's fun times.
It is.
Kids are the right age.
It's really fun, but if you remember, it's also a lot of other work making sure you make all that happen, and
true.
making sure you're making space for Santa to safely get in and out of the home, and that Santa can access his gifts, and that nobody sees Santa's gifts, and everything needs to be done very quickly in a short amount of time. Yeah.
Do you do weird stuff with Elf on the Shelf?
Yeah.
Do you like all through, like, what's your lead up? You do like 2 weeks out, or what do you do with him?
So starting on Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving is when he shows up, and ours is actually a female.
Okay.
So it's a female elf. So she shows up the day after Thanksgiving, and one of the last ones that we did was my wife cut circles out of the back of my boxers, so that when I went out to make breakfast in the morning for my daughter, there were 2 holes in the back of my boxers, and the elf had the scissors and both of the missing pieces of fabric in its hands, and
Mischievous.
and my daughter was looking at the elf and looking at me and looking at the elf and looking at me, and she's like, "Dad, the elf cut your pants." And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, I'm like sitting there making eggs, and she's like, "The elf cut your pants." And then she ran back to the bedroom and got my wife and was like, "The elf cut Daddy's pants. You have to tell him." You know, so
Oh man, the elves had a ditty party up in your house the night before. That sounds rough.
yeah, it was very irreverent.
It sounds irreverent, but it's good.
Yeah.
Did the joke land?
How much baby oil was used?
It did. When I finally figured out that the elf had cut holes in my boxers in the back side, I was like, well, this elf is more mischievous than I thought. I'm going to get him back.
Yeah. How'd you do? So you prank the elf back? How do you prank him?
You prank the elf back. I beheaded him.
Whoa.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But right before we jumped into Christmas, you were at the White House.
Yeah.
So tell us how that happened, because you and I are talking like the day prior, and you were like, "Yeah, we just got this emergency meeting at the White House," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even compute for me. And then we got off the phone, and the next thing you know, I see you guys on C-SPAN.
Yeah, it's
and I'm
weird.
like, "What is happening?" Like, he really does have a meeting at the White House.
Yeah, it was weird, man. It was.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, we got the phone calls about 1:30 in the afternoon the day before, and they invited us out in recognition of all the work we have done on this issue and bringing it forward. And so,
Cannabis is medicine.
yeah, just in, I think a lot of the ways I think it's a brilliant play on behalf of the administration, because really where that was coming from, we spent all of 2025 engaged in battles over CBD and hemp products. If you remember back in the summer, we were going hot and heavy.
States were trying to ban CBD.
Yeah, even all the way down here to the county level in St. Louis County, we had Councilwoman Clancy,
Yes.
who was involved in a big scandal back in 2019. She was in a position to influence who got licenses to open up dispensaries. And so that was a huge scandal. And then COVID hit, and then that kind of disappeared. And then all of a sudden, when all this stuff is popping up all over, the country, and it was here in Missouri, and it got defeated here in Missouri, and it was in Texas, and it got defeated in Texas. And so, there's a lot of states had that.
Yep.
And so it was a coordinated effort. They were just flooding the zone, with all these weird bills. And they just kept losing over and over. Texas had the best chance to go for it, and luckily Governor Abbott saw what was what, and
Veto.
Yeah, he vetoed it. Majority of the state wanted it.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. It was amazing.
CBD is such a better alternative than opioids.
Oh, 1,000%.
Unfortunately, Ohio fell for it.
Well, but that's why this move by the administration is so good, because what's going to happen here, so now they've descheduled this thing from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. It is now Schedule 3. And
Much more accessible.
It's accessible. It allows for the research, because if you're on Schedule 1, it's impossible to get the research done. It's mega cost prohibitive. You can't recoup your money of your investment, so nobody's going to do it. The stuff that's out there is basically controlled to fit narratives, and things are able to be ignored because, they don't meet this quality. Well, nobody can do the damn research that you're wanting
It's
done.
illegal to do the research.
Well, it's certainly prohibitive to the point that you can't. So what this is doing now is, like, everybody and their dog is going to be able to do actual research. And so we are going to see a flood of new research that does not get nitpicked apart and
Sent back.
pulled into
Sent back.
politics and all
Sent
that.
back.
Yeah, it's just going to be an overwhelming avalanche of actual data of what this stuff actually can do. And so as that happens, Dr. Oz at the White House was very adamant about the fact that as we get results and we understand the implications of the new research, and I'm talking, it's coming in a matter of weeks, guys. Like, there's going to start being stuff popping soon. And as that information comes out, they will continue to expand the accessibility to that modality. So I think that was really good. There was some political stuff going on in there too. In the continuing resolution, we just went through that in November, where the government was shut down again. And at the end, we had old Mitch McConnell and Representative Harris out of Maryland spearheaded this amendment, I guess, or bill that went into the funding, the continuing resolution, which had nothing to do with opening the government up. But what it did do was basically outlaw everything from CBD and hemp. So it accomplished what these state level bills and county level bills was trying to do. It
was just the fact that cannabis was at such a highly controlled schedule where it couldn't be accessed wasn't enough. They had to add all these more restrictions.
Well, the thing was, it's the Farm Bill from 2018, right? So the Farm Bill, they had that problem back then, as the dispensaries were starting to stand up. What are we going to do with this? So the Farm Bill came in and basically said you're allowed to have 0.3 whatever percent THC in these full spectrum CBD type stuff. And but there's also this weird caveat which allowed for states that don't have recreational or medicinal marijuana could now move hemp products that have been treated in whatever way, Delta 8, THCA, which technically is not THC, it's THCA, but then you put a flame on it and it burns off that little A and it just becomes THC. So it's like we're stuck in this weird game of let's just pretend that, we're not doing what we're doing. It's just trying to jump through all the hoops. So anyhow, that would have shut all that down and destroyed it. So as part of this rescheduling on the executive order, now CBD, full spectrum, the good stuff, it's now going to be covered by Medicare.
Unbelievable. And then hopefully that I noticed that Medicare and TRICARE and VA care, I remember when I worked in Big Pharma that they use the same type of formularies. So that's a door that opens for the VA. It's a door that opens eventually for
it
even
can now
Medicaid.
be prescribed. It's on the same level as basically Tylenol with codeine, So the stuff can start getting prescribed as the research starts coming out. You'll see more and more of that as Medicare gets involved and starts paying for seniors' cost of their medication for CBD and so on. What Trump has done is he's taken the big poop sandwich that they got from McConnell, and they've kind of flipped it back around and handed it back to Congress and said, well, I see your call and raise you, all in. So now the Congress is going to have a lot of pressure on it here in this month and next month to get something figured out, because they only have so many days before, that stuff has to be implemented. So it was just a really interesting tit for tat on the politics that came down with a big old Trump card at the end, in a lot of ways. So I'm excited for it. I think this is the shot that's going to put an end to this stuff as this thing continues to advance and more research comes in and more opportunities and more avenues become open it up. We still have the status quo that we have to deal with, which is the issue we talk about so much. And, we've got a lot of interesting conversations in the new year here coming up on our advocacy and work to continue to push that forward to address that status quo of these SSRIs and overprescriptions of these medications and demanding of informed consent.
And alternatives to those.
And so this executive order clears the table of drama, all of the devil's lettuce and this is your brain on drugs and all that stuff that we have been programmed with over so many years. Now the science can actually speak for itself. Now we can actually go in and start getting down to business. And we now know a little bit better what we're talking about when we're dealing with rejecting the status quo. Well, what was the alternatives? Well, there's all this new research here, and there's a lot of promising stuff that's already known. Imagine what this world's going to look like in a year from now.
Yeah, it sets the precedent for more plant medicines, right?
In a lot of ways, I think
because
it does.
when you think about when all of the plant medicines like the psychedelic assisted therapies got shut down in the 50s and 60s, really it was also back then cannabis that was kind of the bigger, broader, identified first as a problem by the authorities, and they kind of shut that down, and then they shut down all these other plant medicines. And then it's like, now that this one's loosening up, it's like it opens the door again, kind of in a reverse of, okay, maybe psilocybin or MDMA trauma therapy could be next.
I think it's going to help with the rescheduling of those types of modalities, and which will also open up research for them to continue to advance that ball. But what an honor, man. It was really cool to be recognized for the efforts that we're doing.
Sure.
And, Tim got to go stand directly behind the president in the Oval Office. So we're doing that. In the military, everybody watching this show is probably well aware of like the challenge coins, that we get and collect in the military. And in the veteran space as well. A lot of businesses have coins now.
There's the photo right there.
Yeah, and so there's Tim's smiling.
Grunt Style Foundation there in the Oval Office.
Yeah, so he got a 4547 challenge coin from the president.
I heard those are, first of all, I heard they're massive. Second of all, I heard they're made out of ordnance, U.S. military.
Well, my understanding is they're the casings from the ordnance that was dropped on the nuclear reactors in Iran when we bombed Iran this last year.
That was a squadron from Missouri, I believe.
Yeah, it was right up there at was it Whiteman, right?
Yep.
And so
B2's out of Whiteman.
Yeah, they took that. I mean, how cool is that? So so these things are freaking like that big. I mean, they're huge. So it's pretty cool. Tim now has the literal Trump coin of all the challenge coins that I've ever seen.
And what I liked about this legislation is it was bipartisan.
It was.
There was a large amount of Democratic support, from what I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what a way to end 2025, right? And then as we move into 2026, I don't know about you guys, but I set intentions for the new year. So I'm happy to share mine, but I'd love to start with Roy. What are you thinking about doing, changing? What sort of intentions to become a better version of Roy for next year?
Taking time to step back before I have an emotional reaction to something and try to figure out where it's coming from.
Ooh,
that's some good progress.
That's emotional intelligence in the veteran community is you'll have to teach everybody else once.
I'll let you know when I figure this ride out.
Well, good for you, man. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. How about
That's
you?
a great one. Do you have one?
Yeah. So I'm going to spend 10 minutes a day doing meditative breath work. And I do meditate every day. It helps me recenter. It helps me get back to that place of oneness. But I don't necessarily always incorporate super intentional breath work exercises, which help me go so much deeper in meditation. Yeah. So it's almost like my meditations are more unstructured, and they also I'm not being as intentional about the way I breathe during them. So that's something I want to improve, because it helps me get even deeper into that feeling of love, you know? And then the other one is 10 minutes a day in nature, which is super easy the rest of the time of year. It's just in Q1. I find myself not wanting to go out and hike as much, not wanting to go out and interact with nature as much, and so of course, we have our big Silkies hike next week, but
I was going to say the irony of that coming from the guy who scheduled the January Silkies hike.
I know. But every day I want to be in nature, connecting to nature in some way. So I said that. And then also confronting people in my life where I need to have a difficult conversation earlier and with kindness instead of griping about it. It's something that I'll not want to have a difficult conversation because I'll not be sure how I should approach it in a good way yet. And so I'll just kind of gripe instead of trying to go after it. And then the third one is delegating. This is a work one, but it's delegating more and talking more about what I need help with the Irreverent Warriors team versus just trying to carry the burden alone, A lot of times it's faster for me to just do things myself, but it doesn't allow everybody else to understand what all the things are I am doing. Yeah. So it's good to start spread loading some of that a little bit.
Yeah,
when you figure that out, I know some people that need to read that book.
Yeah. It's a veteran thing. Do it. Get it done. own it.
It's
You know
just
what
easier.
I mean?
It's just easier to do it yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in that damn position like every day.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
But I'll follow your lead, man. I'll learn from you. My end of year resolution, I guess. I really didn't thought of it in terms of resolution, but I suppose it is. I've my health has always just been garbage since I came back from Iraq. Really started going south around 2014 is when it really got bad. So I have crawled over the face of the planet damn near trying to find all these different alternative ways to stay alive and figure out what's up and what's down and try to help spread the word and put people in the same direction because nobody's showing me, so I've had to kind of go out and find it on my own. Well, I finally found a guy into last year that I think is a game changer for me, and his name's Dr. Eric Naputi.
Okay.
And he's here in St. Louis. I really like the guy. The Biden administration actually sued the hell out of him back during COVID because he was one of the physicians that was really, wanting to have a larger conversation on the vaccines. And so he got hit with a mega lawsuit from the administration, and he won. He beat it. So
Wow.
I know, right? That was pretty amazing.
The feds don't go after someone unless it's a slam dunk case, usually.
Yeah, he's a hell of a smart dude, man. And so he's my doctor, and I've been putting all my eggs in his basket. And we have been working on actually going to the root issues, which I've been engaging that for a long time. Well, he's got some new paths that I've not been able to do. So we have started doing this really specialized peptide injections, and a lot of my lab results show I've got parasites. Probably and have had forever. So, in my struggle, I've always been finding something that works. I make good progress. I'll drop a bunch of weight. I'll feel better or start to feel like myself. And then bam, just all of a sudden I'll have a big flare up in my joints, and then just everything kind of goes to hell. And then I'm back in the same situation again. So what we're trying to do now is we're going for the kill shot. We're going to go all in. So I am on some seriously powerful stuff. It kind of makes me sick all the time. So that's why I spent New Year's curled up on the couch. Doesn't make you feel real great, but I'll suffer in the short term for the long term payoff.
Yep.
So that's my goal. I'm gonna get my health back under control and try to find the old me in there somewhere. That's my goal.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, health is the key to mental health, is full body health and everything. So that's brilliant to focus on that. You described not being able to do a whole lot on New Year's Eve. That sucks. I'm sorry about that.
I had Stranger Things. It was fine.
Yeah, you had Stranger Things. Roy, what did you do on New Year's Eve? I heard you were hanging out at the VFW.
Yeah, we had a good party down at the VFW in DeSoto. Probably like 80, 100 people in there. Good time.
Nice.
That's
nice.
a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any good stories? Any humor? Any camaraderie?
There's definitely some camaraderie. So there's a story that happened in the VFW. It's not exactly a fun story, but it was nice to see how it was handled there very differently than other places.
Okay.
So there was a fellow who got a little schwasty.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked.
Right. Only one incident all night, right? But
That's good when you're talking about veterans.
it was not handled the way it would normally be handled in a bar, which is, you rough the guy up and you throw him outside and you don't care about him anymore. This was, everybody just kind of held him in place, let him collect his thoughts, because he was having a PTSD flashback, right? He was an older Vietnam guy. And they just kind of held him from doing anything stupid, and then slowly got him to come back to his space, and then walked him out. He knew he messed up. He was apologizing, all that. But it wasn't handled like a bar situation, right? It was handled with
Like
intelligence,
kindness, care.
like you would handle a brother.
That reminds me of how we've handled things at Irreverent Warriors from time to time.
It was just refreshing to see that.
Yeah, we understand, and we're not just going to demonize you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's a hard call too, because you're, that guy's messing around with other people's experience and all that stuff. And what's that old saying? You get a bunch of drunks in a room, you're going to start a fight. You get 4 drunks in the room, they're going to fight. You get 4 stoners in a room, They're going to start a band.
They're gonna laugh. Oh, I thought they were gonna laugh.
Well, they'll probably a good bit of that too. But anyway,
Love it.
Well, I'm glad you had a good holiday there, man. I'm glad you guys didn't burn down the old VFW in DeSoto. That'd be a loss. That's a pretty cool post. So.
Would be a loss. It's a lot of money.
It would be, and they're good people up there in DeSoto. I really like the post commander up there. I think he's a good dude.
Yeah, there's multiple VFW posts, especially that one that are supporting the Silkies hike on January 10th in St. Louis. The Silkies snow hike, and it remains to be seen if we're going to get some snow because we had a ton a couple of weeks ago, and now we've been dry. So we're up in the air. Are we going to have warm weather? Are we going to have snow?
Hell, we were in the 70s like a week and a half ago.
I know.
What are we going to do if we have this hike and it's like in the 70s?
It'll be perfectly fine. We're going to enjoy it even more. I think we've got some great public speakers lined up. We've got Bill Wilkie, who's a suicide survivor of 4 different suicides of veterans around him and in his family, and has been deeply impacted by it. But he has a story of positivity around his own struggles on the edge with mental health, and then the fact that he's been so close to that much trauma has helped him realize how much it impacts others. So he'll be sharing that with others. We also have Trey Warren.
Trey's great too.
Yeah, awesome IW St. Louis member and Top Gun former lieutenant commander, Top Gun fighter pilot.
Yeah, and he's just got crazy stories, man. I think he's got
Crazy.
the best stories. And if people listening, quick shameless plug, I guess, we just dropped a podcast with Trey 2 weeks ago. So that's out there on our YouTube and social media. Go check that out. We'll get some Trey Warren war tales. They're pretty good.
Yeah, his story of healing trauma and childhood trauma, combat trauma with plant medicines is just truly incredible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those are great, too. I think the guy's a great storyteller. My favorite is the where he's explaining the reindeer games they play in the cockpit on mission with also explains how do pilots go potty while they're in these long-ass missions in these planes, and it's freaking hilarious.
My favorite one is the bag, the urine bag explosion inside the cockpit. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You guys can watch the podcast. But Trey's going to be giving a talk. We're going to the Blue Angels have an F-18 fighter in St. Louis, actually flown in the Blue Angels F-18 fighter in St. Louis, and we're going to go to it. And Trey, who's an F-18 fighter pilot with 4 combat deployments, is going to give a speech about his mental health healing at the at the Blue Angels.
What?
Jet.
Where the hell is that thing at? Where they keep
The
a Blue
Science
Angel?
Center.
Really?
Yes.
They keep a F-18
Intact,
Science Center?
completely intact. Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
You could
it's
teach
awesome.
the custodians and the curators at the museum a little something, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's out there by your tinfoil statue.
Yeah.
What?
You haven't seen the alien tinfoil statue?
No.
You'll see it on the hike. You'll see it on the hike because we're going to do one of the parts of the hike is we're going to go to this. There's this massive silver alien statue, and we're all going to reenact what the alien's doing, and we're all going to do a giant group photo.
Big photo. What is the alien doing?
He's like just like staring up at the sky, kind of like zonked out, kind of out of it. Like a
Stoned.
like a far,
Stoned.
yeah,
Like he's
kind of like an alien. If an alien was stoned out of its mind.
Okay. And we're recreating this?
Yes.
Why are we doing this?
For a group photo.
Oh, okay. All right.
For humor and camaraderie,
Okay.
Will.
I will play ball, and I will get myself in the right headspace for that. No problem. We're good.
Yes. And another thing I'm looking forward to. Oh, and you're going to be giving a speech at the art museum.
Yeah,
so
hopefully before the alien part.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good.
The alien
That's
parts in the
lot-
afternoon.
less pressure.
Give us a preview of what you're going to share with everybody at the art museum speech.
We're gonna talk a little bit. I want to give everything away because I want everybody to go to the hike. But we're gonna lay down some of the old battle plans that we've got coming up for 2026. How we're gonna get there. The way IW we want to engage in some of these bigger battles to cut the heads off of some of these dragons that are still out there that we got to deal with. And we're going to kind of keep it on that. So keep the engine revved. That's my goal.
Perfect. You're a Slay the Dragon guy, so that's the perfect speech.
Yeah.
And then we're going to, at one point, we're going to an arcade that has a massive bonfire, and the bonfire is the Death Star. It's a giant what would you even call it? Fire pit?
Spherical fire pit.
It's a giant
it looks like
spherical.
the
It
Death
is
Star.
an exact welded replica of the Death Star, giant,
That's cool.
with a fireplace and fire burning inside of it.
Yeah.
Almost like if you were to make a direct hit on the middle of the Death Star and it didn't explode, but it like lit on fire inside.
All right, man. Sounds good to me, man. I'm down.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Yeah.
Science Center as well? Or?
Tam Avenue Bar and Grill.
Oh, really?
Yep. That's towards the end of the hike. But
Yeah.
I was going to ask Roy, what are you excited about?
Seeing good friends.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of really cool people coming up, and a lot of folks are helping us on the hike. A lot of folks are.
Yeah, man, hell, there's going to be everybody there. I just saw Thaddeus in the comments. He's coming. We've got Bill Wilkie's going to be there. I mean,
Yep.
There's some names from around IW that are coming.
There's a lot of local coordinators from IW.
Good, man. That's cool because I mean they don't really do IW doesn't really do like dead of winter hikes really.
No, this is the worst month for mental health,
Right.
and this is the month where nobody's ever stepped up to do a hike because it's poor weather across the United States, and we just said, well, then we're going to have a poor weather hike. We've got 65 folks signed up,
Fill the gap.
and I bet we're almost at 100 by the time we go live.
That's good. Well, hey, if you're listening to this live stream today, get your ass to St. Louis next weekend and come on the Freeze Your Balls Off hike there in Forest Park, St. Louis.
That's right. Yeah. So what else is going on in the news lately? I saw over Christmas, it was a very unlikely topic. There was something about Somali terrorism making money off the U.S. government or something like that. Did you guys see this story?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's, well, I mean, I guess they're saying some of it did go back to Al-Shabaab, made its way back there, but basically that's what's happening is you got coordinated, it's organized crime, man. They're filing all these
Fictitious
ways, businesses and money. You know, the government made a lot of money available during COVID. And so I think in the old Nick Shirley video that came out last week, he was going door to door on a whole bunch of these healthcare businesses. One of them had like 43 different healthcare businesses in one little office building, but there was nothing in any of them. And same with these child care places. There was one that was feeding our future children nutrition. I'm going to look at my notes here. I think that was $250 million were stolen as one of the largest COVID fraud nationwide. Now, some of those has already been engaged. Like there were 70 people charged. There was like only 18 that were convicted. And that was back in 2024. So, there's $48 million in restitution is what they had to do, which of course I don't know if they're going to do that, but that's just money burned. And then we had autism and housing services. So you had companies build Medicaid for therapy and housing for autistic kids and needy families. It just never happened. There just weren't any. So it's fake
So
invoices,
is there no
shell
auditing?
companies.
Is there no auditing, I'm guessing, for any of these? Because these were new programs that were just kind of launched out of thin air, and there wasn't really like a...
Well, I mean, it's been going on for years. So, I mean, this thing's going back to, I think some of this fraud goes back into like 2018. I think it was just more of a matter of the authorities just turned a blind eye because it's a community, right? And there's like over 150,000 votes are up for grabs from that community just in Minneapolis. So you can't rock the boat or you're going to burn those things. So I think it was just kind of allowed to go unchecked. And so now, there's been a couple different news organizations that did some stories on it going back even a year or so. Just hadn't caught a lot. And then Nick Shirley, who's just this YouTuber dude that is
like an investigative reporter guy?
Yeah, kind of. He goes out. He was out in Portland and got beat up by Antifa out there in Portland when he was
Just like man on the street.
Just man on the street. And the guy tries to present himself as being completely nonpartisan. He's real independent. He doesn't hype it up for one side or the other. He just kind of shows up with his camera and tells a story. I don't know, man. That dude's, I think he's getting a lot of death threats.
So kind of like Vice.
Yeah, he's very much like Tim Pool circa 12 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good way to put him. But yeah, he's really, I mean, it's rattled the country, man. I mean, all the administrative folks, Kash Patel, J.D. Vance, they've been sharing his content. Trump's talked about it. There is a genie out of the bottle on that. I don't know the way that will land. It's going to get super hyper politicized, but it's like, can we all just agree that, I don't want $9 billion of tax money getting burned?
Yeah, I don't care what party.
Al-Shabaab.
Yeah, I don't care what party's being blamed. Yeah, I just want to end all that.
Yeah,
right?
it's crazy.
And I mean, speaking of blowing the lid off of things. I know we've got a podcast coming up with Chad Caton, right? And I think we've got a preview video, but why don't you tell us a little bit about Chad and how he got involved with Grunt Style Foundation?
Oh, Chad's great, man. So we met Chad back a couple years ago now. We were doing flood relief up with Hurricane Helene up in the
2024.
Appalachians. Yeah.
Yep.
And we took a bunch of supplies and stuff up there. The FEMA was pathetic, and they were non-existent. They were taking convoy shipments of relief supplies that were coming in and intercepting it and putting it on a racetrack over across the state line and Pennsylvania. It was crazy. And supplies weren't getting out to where they needed. And this is in Appalachia. So you've got all these communities that were cut off. The roads are gone. People are up there.
There's rubble in the roads. You can't.
But I mean, it followed a river pattern. It was kind of a weird place because you'd drive through. You're like, it doesn't really look real bad here. And then you come down to a valley where there's a river. And you're like, oh my God, looks like nukes went off. So much devastation. But there were people that are just trapped in the mountains and they were cut off. And these are good old mountain people, man. They're like, yeah, I ain't coming down off this mountain. And some people they just didn't reach. I mean, it was bad, dude. There were like families that had committed like group suicide and stuff like that.
Oh
and
my gosh,
it was bad. And so Chad was out working with our friend Boone Cutler. Rest in peace, Boone.
Yep.
And they were out delivering supplies to these areas, real remote areas. Chad's so tenacious. He even somehow got a hold of a Black Hawk helicopter and started pushing stuff out. He was working with Elon Musk getting those Starlinks out there in some of those communities.
Yeah, I was talking to Boone. Yeah, I remember talking to Boone when we sent a couple of platoons of IW folks to do convoy resupply up there. And he was like, yeah, we got guys rappelling off of Blackhawks. And I was like, he's like, you got anybody ready to do that? And I was like, we do not.
Right. We're not quite that level, man.
Air assault IW. I don't think we're quite at that rank yet.
Yeah. Well, Chad's an interesting character. So he was working with Boone, doing all that. He ended up traveling with General Flynn. General Michael Flynn for about a month on his tour. Chad's also the National Field Director for the Conservative Caucus. So really advocacy and engaging in that kind of work is kind of how he's found his path as, trying to reintegrate into life as just a regular old person after,
He's a Navy vet.
He's a Navy CB guy and just funnier than hell. He's a great dude. But his episode drops, I think, immediately after this one. So probably coming up in about 15 minutes. I think we're going to drop that on all of our channels and people can watch that. Good dude. Oh, I think David's telling me we got a clip to show. So,
hey, America, this is Chad Caton. You don't want to miss the next episode of the Triangular Compass podcast here with the Grunt Style Foundation. I am pretty known to get fired from most networks and say what I feel. I promise you, I do just that on this show. I went batshit crazy, I'm not going to lie. And if you Google me, there's a whole bunch of crappy write-ups about me, but I'm told that meant I'm over the target. And I've actually taken out more Republicans than I have Democrats, to be honest with you. But I've replaced them with people that believe in we the people. How do you go to Costco and realize there's a Cybertruck over there and I need to wipe my butt on his Tesla? Chad, you don't seem to care about the lizard people. And I said, no, I do. I just want to know what caliber I need. Everybody knows what bra size Nancy Pelosi is, but they couldn't tell me who their county legislator is. And if I would have came around that corner from my bedroom with that gun in my hand, I'd be dead in my living room right now. I am about making America first and keeping our young people out of foreign wars. Gen Z is tired of being skinny jean wearing and told they need to be more feminine. They don't want that. I don't like telling people where I'm at because the people do want me dead. Make sure you tune in.
Yeah, he's definitely a character. He is a character. Yes, that didn't even show his humor. Yeah. He's like a full-on stand-up that did show his humor, but he wasn't laughing as much as he usually.
I laughed through that whole episode when we were filming it, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep a straight face going, and Chad's very active in politics. And we're not a partisan group here. We're political. We play political stuff all the time with issues and advocacy that we're doing, and we work with all sides of the spectrum. And Chad is involved in the Conservative Caucus, and so it's interesting some of his stories that he has to tell from inside of politics. So we're not trying to venture into the sides of support one group over the other or anything like that.
Right.
But I think it's a really interesting way. It's an interesting modality of taking care of your mental health and addressing those hollow areas in your heart that need to be filled. That's his modality, man. And we wanted to show that this is a viable path. And maybe you're, following Chad's lead with the old conservative caucus, or maybe you're going to support the Democratic caucus or whatever.
Sure.
We don't care.
That brings all boats together if you're able to have two people that have similar
Conversations.
and they're in different groups, but they're able to then bond on certain topics and go after it together.
Yes.
And then that's when things get across easily.
Yes, and Chad does this well. He is a firebrand. He's hard to grab a hold of. I think he mentioned there in that clip, he's been fired from most all of his broadcasting gigs because he's uncompromising, and that's what we need. We need people that are willing to go out there and get stuff done, and he provides a really good roadmap for that. But more importantly for our viewers, he's showing you that this is an avenue. If you're a person that's hardwired for that, and you are interested in civics, or feeling like what the hell is going on in the country, and I want to get involved, this podcast will give you a good compass heading to follow.
Nice.
To engage that as a modality. So we're kind of outside the box on this one for this episode. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thank you. Awesome. Thanks for putting that together. Thank you, David, for spending all the time on that. Thank you, Roy and Will, for joining us today. And Happy New Year, everybody. We hope you set off 2026 with a good start and a good heart. So sending love your way, and thanks for joining us on this Friday.
All right. Stay waxy, everybody.